Hey there, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Hefshin again. Today we will be covering measurement conversions, and this will be a review of a lesson that we've already done previously. The TEKS we are covering today are 4.8b and c. Today, I will be able to solve problems with conversions. This will be our learning goal for today. I'll know that I have it when I can convert measurements in the metric system, convert measurements in the customary system, and use strategies to solve real-world problems. Let's take a moment to review our STAR reference chart. Remember, this is a very handy tool that you will be allowed to use on the STAR test, as well as other assessments that you'll be taking. This is where you will go to find your conversions. So remember, anytime you're faced with a problem that is asking you to convert measurements, be sure to grab that STAR chart and pay very close attention. All right. In addition, when we are converting from smaller units to larger units, remember, we divide. And a little hint that we can use to remember that is small to big, divide the pig. It's a funny little saying that we can use to help remember that. In addition, when we're converting from larger units to smaller units, we multiply. Our hint for this one is big to small, multiply them all. So hopefully keeping those funny little sayings in your head will help you to remember which operation you need to use when you are converting. Now, let's put that into practice. For each of the problems that we will do together, you will see a little piece of the STAR chart here. I just pulled out the piece that we need for this, but remember, when you're doing this on your own, you're going to have to decide which part of the STAR chart you're going to need. So let's look at this question on converting customary units of weight. All right, it says, Mr. Varga buys a 5-pound bag of onions. How many ounces does the bag weigh? So first, we will need to come to our conversion chart here, and I'm going to find the pair that has pounds and ounces. So we see that this bottom portion does. 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So I know that I'm going to use the conversion number of 16 in order to solve this problem. So Mr. Varga bought a bag that contained 5 pounds. I can tell from my conversion chart that there are 16 ounces in every pound. So let's think about what we are doing here. Are we moving from a larger unit to a smaller unit, or a smaller unit to a larger unit? We are given the number of pounds, which means we are finding the number of ounces. So which one's bigger, pounds or ounces? Did you say pounds? You are correct. That means we are going from the larger unit to the smaller unit. So if we think about our little saying, big to small, multiply them all. So we're going to multiply these two numbers together. So let's do this. 5 times 6 is? Very good, 30. We place our 0 here and regroup the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 more is 8. That means that Mr. Varga bought 80 ounces of onions. So that means that 5 pounds is equivalent to 80 ounces. Excellent work there. Let's try another one. All right, so we're going to stick with customary here, but if you look, we're going to be using length. So let's read this problem together. Grace's pedometer says that she walked 15,840 feet. Wow, great job, Grace. How many yards did she walk? So we are given feet and we want to convert to yards. So I'm going to come up here to my conversion chart and I'm going to find the conversion that shows me yards and feet. Here I see it. In 1 yard, there are 3 feet. So if I know the number of feet and I want to know the number of yards, I am moving from feet to yards. So in which direction am I moving? Big to small or small to big? Very good, small to big. Remember our saying says, small to big, divide the pig. So we will be dividing. So we know that Grace walked 15,840 feet. Since we have to divide, I'm going to draw my division bar there. And we know that our conversion number is 3. So I'm going to divide by 3. All right, let's remember our steps for division. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers rare? So remember, first we're going to divide. What is 15 divided by 3? Excellent, it is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to write that right here. And 15 minus 15 is 0. 0 is less than 3, so I'm good to go. I'm checking. Yes, I do have a digit to bring down. That digit is 8. Since I brought down, I have to start all over again. So now I'm going to divide 8 divided by 3. I know that 3 can fit into 8 only 2 times without going over. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2 is less than 3, so I'm good to go. And I do have another digit to bring down. So that means I'm going to start all over again. Looks like I'm running out of room here. All right, now I'm going to do 24 divided by 3. I know that 3 fits into 24. Very good. 8 times 3 is exactly 24. Therefore, when I subtract 24 minus 24, I'm going to get 0, which is less than 3. I do have one more digit to bring down. It is a 0, but I still have to start over even though it's a 0 I brought down. 0 divided by 3 is 0. We know that 0 times 3 is 0, and 0 minus 0 is 0, and therefore our remainder is 0, so we don't need to do anything with that. So I have determined that Grace has walked a total of 5,280 yards. Does your answer match mine? Great. All right, let's try another one together. Now we're going to move into the metric system. So I'm going to show you how our math is going to be a little bit different in the metric system than it is when we are doing conversions in the customary system. All right, so let's look at what we have here. So Mr. Williams wants to buy enough cat food to feed his cat for 60 days. His cat eats 100 grams of food 3 times per day. So that means he feeds his cat 3 times a day, and every time he feeds his cat, he gives his cat 100 grams. We want to know how many kilograms of cat food Mr. Williams should buy so that he has enough for 60 days. So we are going to find grams and kilograms in our conversion chart. We can see here that in every kilogram, there are 1,000 grams. All right, so let's think. We are given the number of grams and we need to find the number of kilograms. Am I going from small to big or big to small? Yes, grams are smaller, so I'm going from small to big. And we know that our saying says small to big, divide the pig. So we are going to be dividing. But before I divide to find the number of kilograms, I first have to find my total number of grams. So we know that he feeds his cat 100 grams 3 times per day. Therefore, Mr. Williams feeds his cat 300 grams of cat food every day. How many days does he want to feed his cat for? 60, very good. So we're gonna now multiply 300 grams per day times 300 grams, yes, per day times 60 days. We're gonna drop our 0. We have 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, and 6 times 3 is 18. Wow, 18,000 grams of cat food in 60 days. But remember, we need to convert that, and we're going to divide. Since there are 1,000 grams in every kilogram, we're going to divide this 1,000 by 1,000. Sorry, we're going to divide this 18,000 by 1,000. Remember, it's a little bit different when we're dividing in the metric system. Instead of having to change our numbers here, remember they're just shifting along the place value chart. So if I'm dividing, it means that I'm getting smaller, and so therefore my numbers are shifting to the right. So if I shift 1 time, that means I now have a decimal here, so I can get rid of one of those zeros. If I shift my number another time for this next 0, it means that my decimal will be here now, and therefore I'm at 180. I've got to shift one more place for this last 10. When I do that, that means that my decimal is now here. This 0 has moved behind the decimal, so we can get rid of it. And we are left with the whole number of 18. So that means that Mr. Williams should buy 18 kilograms of cat food for his cat so that it will last him 60 days. A little bit different than customary, right? Yeah, it should be a little bit easier because we're using the powers of 10. Excellent. Let's try one more metric conversion together before you practice on your own. All right, so we have Maria here. And Maria has a roll of ribbon. And that roll of ribbon is 12.5 meters long. She wants to cut her ribbon into 5 equal pieces. We want to know how long each piece will be in centimeters. Centimeters. All right, so we're going to come up to our chart here, and we're going to find our conversions for meters and centimeters. Right here in the middle, we see that 1 meter has 100 centimeters in it. So we're going to use the conversion number of 100. And we are given the meter measurement, and we're finding the centimeter. So what are we doing? Very good. We're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. And we know that our saying says, big to small, multiply them all. So we are going to be multiplying here. But before we can multiply, look over here. I see a half. So I want to think about that. So I've got 12 meters, and then I have another half of a meter. So I want to hold off on this half of a meter for a moment, and I want to just focus on this, this whole number, 12 meters. Since there are 100 centimeters in every meter, I know that I am going to multiply 12 times 100. Drop a 0, drop a 0, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. So I know that in those 12 meters, there are 1,200 centimeters. Now, let's think about this half. If 1 whole meter has 100 centimeters, what's half of 100? Did you say 50? You are correct. So in a half of a meter, there are 50 centimeters. So that means that Maria has a total of 1,250 centimeters. Now, I'm not done here because remember my question is asking me how long will each piece be? She's now going to take this total amount and cut it into 5 equal pieces. So I now need to do what? I need to divide. Very good. So I'm going to take 1,250 centimeters and I'm going to divide it by 5 equal pieces. All right, let's do our division again. Here we go. I tell you what, why don't you pause the video here and you try to divide this on your own and then come back and see if your division matches mine. okay? Go ahead and pause. All right. Did you try it on your own? Let's see if we got the same answer. So 12 divided by 5, did you say 2? Excellent, because 2 times 5 equals 10. And when we subtract that, we're left with 2. It is less than 5. I can bring down that next digit, which is a 5, which means I'm going to start that whole process over again. 25 divided by 5 is 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. Since I used it all up, I have a 0 left, which is less than 5, and I'm going to bring down a 0. Remember, even if it's a 0 we bring down, we have to start over. 0 divided by 5 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. We are all done, and that means that we have 5 pieces of ribbon that are 250 centimeters each. Great work, my friends. All right, so there you have it, a little review on conversions, and now it's your turn. Go ahead and try the problems that follow this video, and if you have any questions, be sure to contact your teacher. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, boys and girls.